Look at that. That's pretty. Look at the sun is just below those clouds there, creating some awesome God rays, as they call them. It's really awesome. Nice, beautiful sunrise. Good morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Monday, July 16th, 2018, vlog number 196. And I'm outside right now because I got kind of a pretty sunrise right there. Yeah, there we go. It's not bad. I mean, the sun's been, rising for a while, but it's just coming out of the clouds right now. Okay, there you go. That looks better. Looks nice. Anyway, on to the vlog. Yay! Pretty sunrises are nice. At any rate, boy, so glad last night at work finally got our work done. We had last week a huge list of cases come in, and we've literally been working on them since like Wednesday. Well, we separate them into for 4 of us, and I finally got my set done last night. The other guys got them done earlier because they worked on those days. And I didn't. I had Thursday and Friday off, so I didn't get a chance to work on them other than the Wednesday. So, finished them all last night. There was at least 200 cases each, something like that. I forget how many. Maybe it was like 150. But it just seemed to go on forever and ever. Like carpal tunnel, big time. Good thing though, they're all pretty much the same cases. If you can just like copy and paste all the information across them all, you don't have to worry about like having different issues for every case. That gets annoying when you get those type of, because what I do when they're all the same, I have a little like macro thing that I pretty much just paste in all the information from that I need in like the different fields. I have like 5 or 6 different fields I gotta type into. About all the case information and all the different screens. I just have like a macro. I just kind of like hit like a shortcut key and it just puts it in there for me. So it kind of makes it a lot faster to copy and paste things. But I don't want to talk about work stuff for my vlog. Not today. Later on today though, I do have a photo shoot. So I can get home and get to bed as soon as I can and get up at a reasonable hour, probably around 2-ish, and get ready and go do a photo shoot. Hopefully though, I know it's like pretty nice looking like right now with all the clouds out. I don't know what the weather's going to be like later on, because it's going to be kind of an outdoor shoot and I kind of want the sun. If it's going to be cloudy, I don't know how that's going to be. I mean, it'll be relaxing and not as hot, but this shoot kind of needs to be, bright and sunny. I mean, not necessarily. It could be a little overcast. I kind of want it to be overcast only because it's July, it's summertime, and I'm going to be baking under that sun. So that should be fun. I keep watching more and more of those sword making, weapon forging videos on YouTube. There's one I came across last night, and I've seen this guy before. In fact, he's a guy he's very eccentric, should I say. He's like this Scottish guy who lives in America, has like a American wife. But he makes all kinds of like themed swords, and a lot of times it's really giant swords. But this guy, he works in a very eccentric way. I forget the guy's name, but I'll link his channel down below. And he used to actually be on TV. He had a like a 1-season stint. I think I was on like History or Discovery Channel, one of those ones that do, they now do like Forge and Fire, and even I think like one of those channels had like Man at Arms. Man at Arms is another channel that does themed weapons. They do forges, but this guy, he works, like I say, very eccentrically, but he produces amazing work. He reproduced the video I was watching last night, Seigfried's sword from Soul Calibur 3. And the thing was gigantic. It was like over 6 feet long, 75 pounds of steel. And the way the guy, he normally whenever I see him do his work, like I remember from his show, he didn't look like a very calculating person. He just kind of looked like he just eyeballed everything. But this one, he really did like calculate it and draw it out, and really like constructed the weapon very precisely, and which I was very impressed about. I was like, wow, he did some very impressive calculating work, and the thing came out beautiful. Heavy, it's definitely just a showpiece that he made. Obviously someone commissioned him to do it, but whoever he's sending it to, whoever asked him to make it, I don't even want to know what it cost, what he paid him to do it, but what's the guy gonna really do with it? He's just gonna like put it on against his wall. I hope that he wouldn't try to mount it along his wall unless he like has like steel I-beams for his house construction and bolted to that. Just, a big 75-pound piece of steel that's not easy to mount to a wall. I would just lean it against the wall if I could. But no one's gonna wield that thing. At the end of the video, in this guy's videos, it was like a good like hour and a half long video of him making it, over however many days and weeks it took him to make it. At the end of it, he did like lift it up and like kind of like chopped it to a big old piece of wood, and went through the wood like it was nothing. It's not like he was like actually wielding it. All he did was like kind of held it up and just like let it drop on the thing, onto the piece of wood. And it's not like it's a super sharp blade. It doesn't need to be sharp. It's just like it's not be like shaving paper. He put an edge to it slightly, but it doesn't need to be. It's not like like an axe. Like you're gonna go buy like a hatchet or something. Those things aren't razor sharp. Those aren't meant to fillet a fish or nothing. It's meant to just chop wood. This is pretty much the edge that he gave on this, which is pretty neat to look at. But looking at all forging stuff like that, him, Alex Steele, Man at Arms, it kind of gives you a little bit of inspiration. It's like, wow, I want to go out there and like work with my hands. Because I'm a very indoor type of person in terms of the things that I do. Doesn't require me to be outdoorsy and to work with my hands. I just have to work on a computer. I got little like soft baby hands kind of. I need to go out there and do some manly work. Chop some wood, beat on some hot metal out of the forge or something. I don't know. I can imagine that. Me out there with the forge going, dead of summer, super hot, me beating on metal. My neighbors would be all like, "What the hell is that noise? Oh, this freaking ting ting ting!" You stop, lady. Person trying to cross the street. And then me like passing out from heat exhaustion. That'd be great. I don't think you'll see me out there with a forge and anvil anytime soon. Who knows? Maybe I'll do that for a hobby. I don't know. I wonder if there's like a class for that. Like for a local, trade school has like. I'm sure somebody does, but I don't know about anything out here in New Mexico. Maybe. I mean, we're very. It's very outdoorsy, and we have like horses. Maybe there's some like blacksmithing course where you're just like making horseshoes. But there's a lot of stuff to know if you really want to forge things. Like the guy I watched last night. Yeah, he made a sword, but it's not like he forged it. He more or less cut, plates of steel and welded them together. And grinded out, stuff, and then. But it's not like he, like the art of sword making, or like you making a knife. A lot of times you gotta like, forge the metal, heat it up a certain way, pound it out with a hammer on an anvil. Compact down the metal. There's a lot of like metallurgy that goes in, making a real, actual blade. If you want it to be a good blade, because you have to kind of think that what you're doing to the metal, like all the, metal particles in it, are getting like, you want it to be like certain close together. You don't want the metal to be brittle, but you want it to be hard enough to. Cut through things without, the edge deforming or breaking. If you're making like some type of sword, certain swords you want it to be long and light enough to be able to wield, flexible enough to bend on impact so it doesn't shatter. And there's a lot of tempering you got to do. It's a lot of heat treating. When I was watching Alex Steele, he uses words like cycling, like he cycles the metal, like what's the other, he uses the word tempering. There's another term he uses, I'm like, what the hell is that? That's a weird term. But I can't remember what he said. He says it usually, like always, when he's doing his tempering. But of course, when you do certain metals, like he loves making things out of Damascus. And Damascus, all that is getting like two slightly different types of metals, of steels, and putting together like in like, you get plates of them, and you like every other plate is a different metal. Like, it's like one metal with another metal, same, and like you stack them, and when you forge them together, compress them down. When you get it all together, you give it like an acid etch, and the different steels, you see a pattern in it of the two different steels, and it makes it look really pretty, but it's supposed to be like super strong. And he just loves the way it looks. He gives like different patterns to his Damascus, and it is altogether like really interesting work. I love seeing that type of thing. I wish I knew someone out here that actually did like blade work or forging, just so I can like go and watch, or maybe just have them kind of show me a couple things or work on it. Thanks, Forge and Fire, for showing me that type of stuff. Now, actually, if I think about it, I've always kind of been interested in that type of thing in terms of just construction. Like, I remember a long time ago, there was like, I think it was on Nova. It was like a documentary about Japanese swords, katanas, and how those are made, like in the traditional style. and that's like super complicated. Like, they get out and it's not like they go and get fabricated steels that are a certain quality. In a traditional way, they get like actual raw iron, and they infuse it with a carbon. They put it in this big old kiln, and they fire it up all in the traditional way. And when you get iron and infuse it with carbon to make steel, and then from there they put it in a coal forge, get it super super hot, and like you could tell like how much like the carbon content is, because it's like giving out like tons and tons of sparks. It's like almost as bright as what my face was just looking like. And with katanas, they know how to put two different grades of steel in it, where they put a softer steel inside like a sandwich, like a V-shaped sandwich of harder steel. Or did I get that flipped? I think the harder steel is on the inside. They call it sanmai. I'm learning all this terminology. And they put it in those little sandwiches of a different type of steel. And when they first make the blade, when the blade is basically like almost at its full regular shape, turn it or what? It's straight. A katana is straight when they first make it. And then when they put it, after when it's like super, ready to be completely hardened, it's straight, and they get all super hot in the coal forge, and then they put it in water, and the steel is cool, but as metal cools, it contracts. But the inner core steel, since it's like in a sandwich, in that V-shaped sandwich, when that contracts, it kind of like curves, and that's what makes the katana blade like have that curve in it. And I was like, that's freaking interesting as hell. Of course, traditional Japanese katana, those take super super long time to make. Like masters, like you have to be like, you have to apprentice with that stuff for years and years and years. They have like master bladesmiths that work on that kind of stuff, and it's all super interesting. I wish I could find that Nova documentary again, because it was a long time since I've seen that, but it was really cool. I wonder if YouTube has it. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, I babbled on too much about blades and work. What else I talk about? I forget. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Everybody have a good day. I love you.